I just realized I needed to reset Streamlabs really quick to push the live to YouTube correctly. My fault. Let's see. Yay! Pickles is here. It's gonna be a good day. Or he was here. Pickle. There he is. There he is. Hey, you.
Hello.
Gosh, what a crazy day in the news. I cannot. I have something so crazy to show you that Danny just sent me, the doctor I did a broadcast with. Oh my gosh. It's an update on, God, what is her name? Natalie Rupnow, the 15-year-old school pewer. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, no, she just sent me a local update, which then we could just speculate how this ties into everything, and you can Google. Like, I just screen recorded it like 2 seconds ago. This is great. Well, we'll just speculate together. I'm sorry if my face looks crazy because it's mind blowing. I don't know what's going on now. I don't know if this is the guy who, when that manifesto was online and some guy gave it to a person, and verified his identity and that it was real all that. I don't know if this is that guy, but they've basically arrested some guy in California for like grooming her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same guy that's how whatever was in that manifesto showed up on X. I'm not quite sure. Like, they're not naming names. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a 20-year-old. Yes, it's a 20-year-old. And I haven't said much about how that manifesto got on TikTok or on X because I didn't want to, say anything about it. But it was like from some guy. Like, that is what it was. So I don't know.
A dude wrote it?
Well, I don't know if he wrote it or he
released
delivered it, but I mean, it looks like she was being groomed. So like probably a lot of those ideas, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what of that is her and what of that is a 20-year-old man from California. Like, I'll play this. I'm just going to play the news clip. Danielle, Dr. Danny just sent it to me. She's like, did you see this? And I'm like, no, I don't watch the news in Carlsbad, California. Like, I have no idea what's going on. That's so crazy. Guys, keep tapping the screen, share the live. That's Pickles, Cash App, and Venmo. This is mine. If that is the best way to support us, if you would like to. Also, please subscribe. Subscriptions are amazing. You can subscribe to Pickles through his profile as well. Everything we go through on the People's Receipts, all of the clips and the articles are in the Discord in the outline. So if you would like to join the Discord, just message Feliz Navidad Live. That's one of my TikTok accounts. Just send a message and say I'd like a link to the Discord, and we will get you one as well, because the point of the People's Receipts is to arm people with the truth, provide the content, the clips, the articles, so that if you want to debate, talk to your family, or make your own content, whatever the case may be, we are all armed with the same truth. Am I forgetting anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something today, but we can just start with this. Like I was kind of alluding to, this was just sent to me, and it's an update on the Wisconsin Christian school, whatever it's called, Abundant Life Christian School, and Natalie Rupnow. But this has to do with a 20-year-old man in California, which makes a lot of sense now as it relates. I've been very careful, like not really, I haven't talked about what's in that manifesto or what it was, because what I said is a lot of that content, just as a researcher, it matches court records. And I said one page seems like an angry little girl, but a lot of the rest of it is like, what the is this? It's just like, it does not compute. And now it kind of makes sense. Maybe Did I watch the Midas Touch? Yeah, it's 30-minute Joe Biden. Sorry, this is how my ADHD works. Sorry, I happened to glance at the comments and someone asked if I watched the Joe Biden Midas Touch interview. I'm not. Thank you, Miss Two Shoes, for subscribing. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. Like, I'll say this. Joe Biden is amazing and I appreciate what he's done, but he also does say those same things in every interview. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say that. I didn't hear a lot of new things that I have not heard, but Joe Biden's amazing. And I'm so glad that he sat down with an interview for Midas Touch, because I think we should do everything we can to legitimize them as, like, you know, as a reputable news source that's telling the truth. You know, at least someone's willing to get it right. Do you have a way to get a hold of the 4 boys? Pickle, someone is asking you something, and I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know.
Do you have a way
I'm not
to
sure
get
what it
a hold?
means.
Okay, I was like, is there something going on that we don't know? I want to play this clip though. So again, this is an update on the Natalie Rupnow case, which I guess this is a local news station that is reporting on this in Carlsbad, which I assume is as far as I know, that's California, or there might be one in New Mexico too. But anyways, let's just listen to this and then we can all speculate as to what we think it may or may not mean, because I honestly don't know.
Carlsbad police served a gun violence emergency protective order on a 20-year-old man. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, neighbors say more than a dozen officers were at the man's address and seized evidence.
This is the gun violence restraining order served Tuesday night against 20-year-old Alexander Pfaffendorf at this condo in the 7400 block of Altiva Place in Carlsbad.
It sounds pretty wild and scary.
Neighbor Alex Galagos was surprised by the number of officers that showed up.
I pulled in and they had their full guns out all over the street. There's cop cars. There's about 15 cops here, I'd say.
The gun violence restraining order alleges Pfaffendorf was, quote, plotting a mass shooting with the Madison, Wisconsin shooter Natalie Samantha Rupnow. Pfaffendorf admitted to the FBI agents that he told Rupnow that he would arm himself with explosives and a gun and that he would target a government building. Rupnow is the 15-year-old girl accused of going on a mass shooting Monday at a school in Madison, Wisconsin, killing 2 and injuring 6 before she turned the gun on herself.
Well, I'm just glad that they were on top of it, and you know they're going to get to the bottom of it hopefully before something bad happened here in our county.
The gun violence restraining order served in Carlsbad is a civil action, not a criminal action, but it does allow officers to seize weapons, something the neighbor says he witnessed.
2 cops carrying out a big black, what I thought was a gun box.
I knocked on Pfaffendorf's door Wednesday, but there was no answer. The neighbor says officers were on scene here for 2 or 3 hours Tuesday night.
They were here for a while, things started to die down, and then I just saw them start laughing a little bit and giving each other high fives.
So again, it's not criminal, it's civil, and they just were basically seizing pews. And probably my guess is, like I said, I saw local news in Wisconsin when I was trying to authenticate or research what was being said in that manifesto that I don't think they've publicly said if it's real or not, but it has a lot of correct information and came out hours before any information had come out. So I was trying to authenticate that. I found local news reports in Wisconsin that were saying they had found a locked Google Doc in Natalie Rupnow's house, and then they were looking at, her communications with people. So I'm just assuming this is someone who was communicating with her. What do you think?
Wow. I don't know. I'm thinking of, did you read, there's another female shooter in Brazil today.
What is happening in this world? This is
a young one. Young, like 16.
Well, she's I think one of the youngest, especially for a female, crazy. So again, though, it sounds like I don't want to say being groomed, but if you're 15 and you're talking to a 20-year-old and he's saying this type of stuff to you, you know.
Yeah, very impressionable. Yeah, it definitely, like, this kind of stuff, you don't just like go down a rabbit hole online by yourself. I feel like you definitely need I don't know, some sort of peers, some sort of push. I agree. And you're right. Like, the first few pages of the document, some of it kind of does come off as just like ramblings of a young person, but the last page is a lot different than the first few.
Yeah, like the second to last. Yeah, it's like one of those pages is like very different than the other pages. That's exactly what I thought when I read them. And so maybe this explains it. Like, this is not just her, like her thought process. Like, there's definitely someone influencing her, and exacerbating this situation. An adult, as a matter of fact. Another person whose frontal lobe is not developed, but a technical adult, which I thought that was really interesting, because again, I just got sent this. I did not hear about the young girl in Brazil, actually. And yes, I see what you guys are saying. I don't like. I see a lot of people saying different things. I understand that, like Brett as far as I know, Brett has had like a run-in with the Uvalde police, which I have to say, I'm not surprised by this. Like, small county sheriffs and police forces in Texas. I was just reading of a case in rural Texas that has to do with SA and a sheriff, and what these people and how he moved around from like 9 different police forces and ended up SAing so many different people, and they could not get him out. Like, the corruption. I'm trying to remember this stat I was reading about corruption. Police corruption in local police forces in Texas that have 9 police officers or less, is very common. So yeah, in real time, like, obviously I don't know the situation. I have not talked to Brett personally. So I do not, like, I don't know. Like, if you're asking me if I have an update on it, no, I don't. I haven't spoken to him. I've just been informed like you were from other people. Like, I'm sure you guys know as much as I know. Yeah, I love Brett. Like, but like, as far as like seeing the video and then like hearing other people talk about it, I know nothing else other than like what you guys know, or like what you've heard on lives, or like what you saw in the video. That's all I've seen. So yeah, like, I don't, if you're asking me if I have an update, or like, do I personally, like, I don't have Brett's phone number. I know but I haven't talked to like Political Mom this morning. I haven't talked to anyone. Like, I work on outlines, like I'm screen recording clips. So I keep my devices on do not disturb. So yeah, I haven't talked to anyone. So yeah, that's as far as like, I'm aware of it, but literally was just made aware minutes before this live. And that's why I was a little late. I was just looking into it and recording this, but I do not have additional information outside of probably what you guys have heard in lives. They're asking people to call the DA. I thought I've seen both. I thought they were asking people not to call the DA. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard both. So I'm not going to tell anyone to do anything, because so I don't know. Like, but I see people saying they're asking people to call the DA, and I heard the exact opposite. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to drop it, because I don't know enough to comment on this. I just know what everyone else knows. So there are people in the chat saying they're asking us to call the DA. I don't think that's true. So as far as I know, they said don't call the DA. And so I'm just going to go off what I heard them say, which is do not call the DA. Yeah, because especially in like rural Texas, like, I don't think that's necessarily going to help. People are saying they did. Well, I'm just telling you what Brett said. So I don't think, I would not personally do that. I just want to quickly whoopsies. I'm trying to click on something. Okay. I'm trying to click on something on my PC and I'm realizing I need to click on my iPad. Okay. You guys, this is disgusting. I just need to talk about this and vent for a second. I don't know if you guys saw there's so much going on this morning. It's absolutely crazy. Fani Willis is disqualified as of this point from trying this case. Like, I can't. By the appellate court, right? The judge had ruled on it. I thought he was very fair in his ruling, and they overruled it. So as of now, Fani Willis can't try the case. She has an opportunity to appeal. She can appeal to the Georgia Supreme Court, but if that doesn't work, I think they need to literally get a new lawyer, or this case may not even be tried anyways till 2028. But Fani Willis had said she was going to proceed with it regardless. That's what she said. But again, she can appeal to the Supreme Court, but as of now, the appellate court is saying that Fani Willis cannot pursue the case as a result. But the good news, if there is any good news coming out of Georgia, I would say the good news of this story is that part of this was the appellate court did deny dismissing the case, because that's also what they wanted. The defendants wanted this case dismissed and the appellate court said no. So at least it's still a case, because Georgia has a super majority. Republicans have control of everything that happens in that state. If they want to dismiss it, they can dismiss it. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. When you just brought up that we're not going to see anything until 2028, I don't know. I hate that already. So I don't know how much more ticked off I am about the Fani Willis thing. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Sorry, hold on.
I think we have. Yeah, Chelsea is messaging me too.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I have so many things I need to talk about. Yeah, let me do this. Let me start at the beginning, because we have a lot going on we have so many things spinning out of control all at one time today. It is truly amazing. Oh man. The Supreme Court. Guys, tap the screen, share the live. I highly, highly appreciate it. Hey Ryan, glad to see you here. I know, it's so crazy today. The Supreme Court has announced, which I have to say, any of these cases, when they come up and the Supreme Court announces they're going to hear them, I don't think it can be good at this point. The Supreme Court has announced they're going to hear South Carolina's bid to block funding for Planned Parenthood. And I don't know, this could set a precedent of states being able to defund Planned Parenthood. This is, I don't even have words for this one. So yeah, I mean, and again, there will be oral arguments, and then there will be, the rulings of this session aren't going to come out till the summer, usually June, but this is the reality of what we're looking up. They are teeing up to empower states to defund Planned Parenthood. To
have more healthcare deserts.
I mean, yeah, the South is already, but I mean, this is not if we defund Planned Parenthood, we're not talking about, hey, you can't get an AB. This is, you can't get screenings for cancer. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't get
contraception, tested for
pap smears. You can't, this is a doctor. This is like a free woman's clinic kind of thing. So, yeah, the Supreme Court's going to be hearing this case. This is healthcare for underserved women. This is some of the only healthcare available to women. When I was uninsured, this is where I went. So, yeah, I mean, this is the reality we're at with this. Today, the news, just going through the news this morning was one of the craziest experiments I've ever had. Yeah, so if you guys are not up on what's going on with Luigi, actually, I was going to say he was due in court, but he has been in court. He has waived his right at this point to fight extradition. So he, as of this morning, was in a car going to New York. So he's not fighting extradition anymore. You know,
there's some really good entourage pictures of him, honestly.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, you mean like an entourage?
Like perp walk, like badass in a suit getting walked by dudes with pew-pews.
Yeah, well,
it's kind of overt. Yeah, it's kind of overkill, but yeah.
I didn't know if he was going to fight extradition or not, but it looks like he just was waiting until he had secured a lawyer and then decided to just get on with it.
Yeah.
And then also and I played the clip of, if you weren't here, we were doing an update about Natalie Repnow. They actually served a civil warrant, which I had never heard of, to collect the pew-pews of a 20-year-old man who was allegedly, I'm going to say, grooming. If you're a 20-year-old talking to a 15-year-old about, committing a mass tragedy and saying, if you do it, I'll do it, that's grooming in its finest. And yesterday, I just want to say the names because I think it's important, right? Yeah, that is 1,000% grooming. Exactly. Yeah. And the names of the victims were finally released, right? 14-year-old Ruby Vergara and 42-year-old, the substitute teacher. She'd been a substitute teacher at the school for, I think, 3 years. And her name's Erin M. West. They had been withholding their name. So I just think it's important to say people's names, and as this unfolds, let's just focus on, the victims and the people that are still in the hospital fighting for their lives in critical condition. I mean, sorry. I am not. And I just, let's talk about this. This is as of yesterday. This is the stock. This is since Trump rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. This is what has happened. And think what is happening. We're going to go through. I'm going to try to tell the story of what the absolute show that has gone on since we have last seen each other, in which I think Elon Musk is the president of the United States. I'm pretty sure, nearest I can tell, Elon Musk is the president. This is insane. Tap the screen, share the live. And just to be clear, government shutdowns are absolutely the fault of the Republic, of whoever is in charge of the House, right? If they don't move that bill out of the House, right, there's nothing anyone can do. The bill has to move out of the House. If Rand Paul will not move the bill out of the Senate and filibusters and refuses to stop, that's the fault of the Republicans for not doing this earlier. Mike Johnson was supposed to show people this bill a day earlier than he even did because he's too terrified. We'll get to it. But I just want to call out, I do love feuds on the internet, and Cat Turd is after Dan Crenshaw. For real. Do you remember when the Unusual Whales report came out? The Unusual Whales report are people in Congress who are making, or betting or getting returns in the stock market that are above average and unusual, right? Congress making money in the stock market. And I think that's what he's saying. He's like, yeah, get it right. Dan Crenshaw. And if you don't know who Dan Crenshaw is, he's from Texas, and he's a House member, and he has an eye patch. He's I would consider him, I would say a moderate, but not too moderate. I don't know where this is coming from. He said, Dan Crenshaw is the America Last, Ukraine First war pig who doesn't need a raise because all of the money he makes when he miraculously became a stock expert since joining Congress. Dan Crenshaw, by no means, by the way, is making more money than anyone else. If you look at the Unusual Whales report, it's not like he's there are many Republicans in Congress making way more than Dan Crenshaw. So I'm not quite sure why Cat Turd is so angry. But the other thing there, and I'll get to this in a second as I show you the absolute S show unfolding on Capitol Hill. They're also accusing Dan. Well, listen to what he said first. Let me read you this crazy response. Anonymous coward like Cat Turd talking shit without any evidence. I'm used to it. Sorry. I was guy fighting. I was guy, maybe gone fighting the war. I was guy fighting the wars that little bees like you would never dare to. One of us has actually served this country and continues to, while losers like you make money being trolls on social media. I live in Atasocita, just outside Houston. If you think I'm rich, you're an effing idiot. The people getting rich off politics are the influencers like Cat Turd selling their platforms to the highest bidder. Sorry to break it to y'all. That's the truth. I just thought I would put a picture up of Cat Turd.
I'm looking at the 2023 report. Dan Crenshaw, he's like halfway down, a little bit less. Like he's not even in the top half of the.
That's what
whales.
I said. That's why I don't know why they're going after him so hard. That's what I'm saying. Like if you guys let so many other Republicans like very clearly be profiting off insider trading, and you're yelling at Dan Crenshaw, like it's
Brian Higgins. Who the fuck? Brian Higgins is like this. He's the biggest one of all.
Oh, I love the Unusual Whales report. Yeah, no, there's some egregious offenders in there, and it's not Dan Crenshaw. But I think that's what I'm saying. We'll get to it as I show you the absolute S show unfolding on Capitol Hill. But I think where it might come from is. So the Republicans are trying to blame, shocker, right? The Republicans are trying to blame the Democrats for the cost of living adjustments. You know, they're giving themselves, Congress is giving themselves raises, basically. And I think it's going from like 170 something to like 240. Like these are not small raises. You know, so people like naturally the MAGA Republicans are like, oh, the Democrats are trying to give themselves raises. And then the Democrats came out and they're like, no, we did not put that in there. The Republicans put it in there. And so once they realized, oh, there's some Republican that is demanding raises, then they went on a witch hunt and different news outlets reported it was Dan Crenshaw. So I think that's where this is coming from. They think Dan Crenshaw is demanding a raise, which if he is or isn't, but all Democrats were saying were like, hey, you guys are trying to pin this on us. It wasn't us. It's the Republicans that are demanding a raise. And I need to just share this with you guys again because I reported this and I wasn't sure if it's true, but it has turned out that it is true. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Tap, tap, tap. Let's get to 100K as fast as possible. I so appreciate your engagement. Tapping is clapping. Please gift pickles. It is much, much appreciated. Okay, wait. Let me do this really quick because Chelsea sent me. So I do have an update. This is an official. Now I feel like I can say something because someone that knows something about this actually sent me something now. Okay. It says Brett and Nikki Cross were assaulted by police officers and thrown on the ground and removed from the pretrial hearing of the former police chief Arnaudo today. We are reaching out to all creators to talk about it and have people call this number to demand accountability. Yeah, it's not the DA. Hold on. Let me figure out. Let me add this to the slideshow and then I can put it up. Give me 1 second to figure out how to do this quickly. And then everyone can I'll put this up and then everyone can screenshot it and then you can, just put it in Discords and oopsies. I think I did. Hold on. Now give me a second to make sure I got it and I will get it up. Keep tapping the screen, guys. Tapping is clapping. I really appreciate you guys tapping the screen while I do this really quick. Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Got it. There's Joanna. Okay, so guys, screenshot this. This is the number. It is the Uvalde County Sheriff's Department. I can screenshot the message too. And I'll do that too. Joanna, why don't you do announcements? And I'm going to screenshot Chelsea's message and put it in here too. So that way you guys can be clear kind of on what exactly happened.
Awesome. Yeah, that video was crazy. It's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy week. But I wanted to hop up here, tell y'all, hey, Felice, you look gorgeous. Pickles, you do too. You look very tall even when you sit down.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome, love. We love our new dad. Yay. But.
Yay.
Just wanted to say thank you, one.
Oh, you're cutting out.
You're kind of cutting out.
Now. Is
Oh. It's all right, chat. She'll be back. Chat, tap the screen. That's what she was saying. Tap the screen. Don't be selfish. We got back.
Also, really quick. Okay, this is the message. If you guys want to screenshot this, here, I'm going to drop Joanna so this doesn't get in the way. We don't have too many people over. This is the message this is from Political Mom of what happened. And so, like, if you need talking points when you call that number, just screenshot this. And this is kind of like exactly how she described it to me in the message. And then if you need me to put the number back up, just let me know in the chat and I'll put it back up.
Thank you all for watching, and just make sure we're all tapping. We're at like 65. I definitely think we can get to 100 by 3:30 Eastern time. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Felice and Pickles, for the info. And if you want the Discord, the link or message that TikTok account, Felice Navidad Live. And if you send Venmo or Cash App, she will read the messages. And so will Pickles.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Thank you.
I think I got... Yeah, Joanna, you're welcome to come back whenever you're in a place where Wi-Fi works. Sorry, it was just cutting in and out. Okay, and again, I'm just going to put this up one more time in case you need it. This is the contact information for the sheriff's office. Do not contact the DA. Contact the sheriff's office. Yeah, love you, Joanna. Thank you so much for your help. If you hear a cat screaming in the background, that is Mr. Mittens, and I have fed him, and he gets a lot of love. He's just pretending I don't take care of him right now for some reason. And then let me go back to where we were, and we will get started. Oh my gosh, Mittens! Shh. Making me look like I don't take care of you. We were reporting on this and I wasn't sure about it. So I just want to be clear that thank you so much for subscribing, Moth. It is so appreciated. You just have no idea. Like, this turns out to be true. Like, there was, I believe it might be a CNN reporter. His name was Brian, something with an S. And he was reporting that the reason that George Stephanopoulos, like all of this was happening was because George Stephanopoulos was going through a renegotiation with ABC. And so he was probably being agreeable with all of this and like the settlement because he was going to get a lot of money. Yeah. It's true. The details haven't been released, but he was making $15 million. And now Brett Macelis was reporting, the monetary terms of George Stephanopoulos' contract renewal with ABC are not yet public, but he was previously making about $15 million a year. It seems likely he's getting paid significantly more now. Also, if I had to bet, his new contract probably includes strong non-disclosure and non-disparagement clauses prohibiting him from discussing the settlement with Trump. How pathetic is that? I mean, I'm very disappointed in ABC and Disney. And I think I have the clip, and if I don't, I'll just say it now here. But I have been listening to a lot of different analysts talking about this, and probably there were probably things they did not want to come out in Discovery, like.
Yeah, that makes sense. But so this was all about them saying what about Trump? That he was a rapist?
No, so there was an interview done. George Stephanopoulos from ABC interviewed Nancy Mace, and in that interview, he was saying that Judge Kaplan. It's Judge Kaplan, right? Sorry, I get the judges mixed up sometimes. I believe it's Judge Kaplan was saying, like, in his second ruling, he was saying, hey, by the common definition of grape, like, Trump was found to have raped Jean Carroll. Like, and he put up the article. It's a Washington Post article, that says judge clarifies. Yeah, that article, and he was referring to the court ruling. I mean, they had a really good case. Like, it was they were both about to be deposed, and then they just settled. So yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just about the difference between being, I guess, liable for sexual abuse and grape. And then, but I mean, you're asking people to, talk about, to understand New York penal code. I don't know. So yeah, that's what it is. But he didn't have to settle. Like, even if ABC settled, he didn't have to. Do you know what I'm saying? And now it's turning out that's what a reporter was reporting, that when this came out, I was talking about. There were reporters saying, oh, he's in a contract negotiation. Like, he stands to make a lot of money. And that's what Ben Macelis is reporting on. They're just saying, yeah, he is he just renegotiated his contract. Like, he got a multi-year deal. Thank you, Jalixa, for subscribing. Thank you so much. So I'm just saying, it turns out that's true. And I find this article super interesting, and we'll get into it because I have some clips of James Comer. But remember how yesterday I was talking about James Comer's impeachment investigation into Joe Biden has completely collapsed. One of the Russian spies that was feeding was allegedly his credible source, has just pled guilty in a court of law and said that he got this information from Russian intelligence officers, and it's not true, and he has no way to substantiate it. I find it very interesting, right, that James Comer saw Biden's finances as impeachable, which they never made the connection. Just to be clear, there is no connection between Joe Biden's finances and any Hunter Biden dealings, right? They just like to say it was the Bidens, but he finds that impeachable. But he is being asked in the media all day yesterday, hey, don't you think it's weird that Trump's going to profit while he's president? Like, you seem to have a problem with Biden doing it. Why don't you have a problem with Trump doing it? And he's just like, that's fine. Like, the hypocrisy. Exactly what, and by the way, none of this was when Joe Biden was president or vice president, right? None of it.
Yeah,
what James Comer was falsely accusing Biden of was not even when he was president. And he's like, Trump's fine.
I love when people bring it up. They're like, oh, yeah, but what about business, Biden's business deals in Ukraine and China? And I'm like, okay, but what about Trump's business deals in Egypt and in, Jared Kushner getting $3 billion from the Saudis.
With China.
Yeah, him paying more taxes
Trump,
to China.
While he was president, China was renting floors of Trump Tower that were empty. They had offices down the street, a Chinese state bank. And I'm not when James Comer says Hunter Biden had dealings with China, he implies it's the country. He means a Chinese man. I just need to be clear. He's not talking about the country of China. I am talking about the country of China. He's saying a Chinese man that Hunter Biden did business with. I'm saying a government-owned bank. Keep tapping the screen, guys. Tap the screen, share the live. Tapping is clapping. I so appreciate it. Get pickles, support the live. It is so important that we're almost to 100K, and I appreciate it more than you know. I never read you guys. We're going to go off on a little Matt Gaetz tangent. We talked about it. As soon as they don't, well, I don't know what's going to happen anymore. But I mean, as soon as the government very hopefully does not in fact shut down and everyone goes on Christmas break, they're releasing the Matt Gaetz report, right? Oh. And I don't know if everyone caught it on X. There's a response, what Matt Gaetz decided to tweet yesterday. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me find it because I don't. I know I have screenshots of it. Let me make sure I do. Let me get them because I need to. Sorry, I was a little bit tired when I was making this morning. I'll find them. I know I took them. Oh, there's the video about it. Where are my screenshots? Or maybe I'll just read it. Kitty, please stop screaming. Can you hear Mr. Mittens?
Nope.
Okay, good. Actually, that's good. Maybe this microphone helps. My old microphone, people would be like, why is there a cat screaming?
Yeah, that's why I'm so not used to, when I'm so noisy with my other microphone.
These microphones are awesome. This is the best money I've ever spent. Sorry, hold on, guys. I'm going to just read it out loud because I'm definitely not letting this go by without reading it. Come on. Yes, here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is the part I want to read. Well, I'm going to read the whole thing, but there's a part that's really interesting. You tell me if somebody is innocent, is this something that they say? This is Matt Gaetz's response to finding out this report's coming out. He basically says, the Biden-Garland DOJ spent years reviewing allegations that I committed various crimes. I was charged with nothing. He says he's fully exonerated. He was not exonerated, right? They just, this is a common thing that Republicans do. This is what Pete Hegseth is trying to say about him and the Republican woman who credibly accused him of rape. Not bringing charges is different than being exonerated. Those are two completely separate things, right? You don't waste taxpayer dollars if you're like, I might have a hard time proving this case. I don't know. Because the witnesses that showed up to the ethics committee, they did not talk to the feds, if that makes sense. So the ethics committee got a hold of more witnesses and more people who were willing to testify. As far as I understand it. Again, that's my understanding. So again, he says he's fully exonerated. He wasn't. Not even a campaign finance violation, and the people investigating me hated me. Then the very witnesses DOJ deemed not credible, which again, I've never seen the FBI records of the Matt Gaetz case have never been released. Nobody knows what the witnesses said, what the investigators said about those witnesses. This is not true. We don't know. So again, he's just saying things that were deemed not credible were assembled by the House Ethics to repeat their claims absent any cross-examination or challenge from me or my attorneys. I've had no chance to ever confront any accusers. I have never been charged. I've never been sued. Instead, House Ethics will reportedly post a report online, which I cannot wait. It's can we throw a part? We should go live and just read it aloud, Pickles, when it comes out.
I will probably get banned, but sure.
Oh yeah, you're right. We have to comb through it. There's probably a lot of gross stuff in there. From what I've heard, it's really gross. Okay, so he says they're going to release the report online that I have no opportunity to debate or rebut as a former member of the body. Well, you didn't have to resign, and then you could have probably had more of a say, but you went away because you didn't want it to come out. That's what an innocent man does, right? And this is the part that Aaron's was like, hey, that's really interesting and weird. Like, is this something you say? Like, when you're this part. In my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated, even some I never dated, but who asked. Yes,
What?
I've always Venmoing random women. I have no idea who they are. Money.
Oh
Aren't
my
you
God.
guys?
So that part's coming out for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's already out
Well,
anyway.
yeah, he's very clearly worried about something. I think we can be absolutely certain. He's very worried something is coming out. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm just looking at my outline and I'm very confused. Oh my God. Sorry. I feel like my outline is missing videos. I'm going to have to figure this out because I think something might be wrong with my outline. Anyways, so he's saying, in my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated, even some I never dated, but who asked. I dated several of these women for years. I never had sexual contact with someone under 18, except for that woman that I guess was a witness that said she watched it. Any claim that I have would be destroyed in court, which is why no such claim was ever made in court. I think he probably would say that they were all under the influence of that party, so no one could be sure. My 30s were an era of working very hard and playing hard too. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I have a different life now, but at least I didn't vote for CRs that F over the country. What? We are in a nightmare. And I might just have to work off the outline because I'm noticing a lot of the videos seem to be... Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where the videos are for... I think I'm just going to work off the outline. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. And then I'll put I'm going to work off my Apple Notes because... my shared slideshow, I think I had an issue with my router this morning. I think my shared thing doesn't have everything I needed to in it. Thursday. Okay. Scrolling up. I am on. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to play the clips from live off the internet because I think that's going to be the easiest way since... Got it. Hopefully it doesn't slow down the live too much. Why can't I adjust the size of this though? Oh wait. No, oh, it's locked. Sorry. There we go. I was like, I can't see myself. Okay. Now, this is a clip of Comer, right? This is him talking. Like, this is what I was talking about before. Comer is saying, hey, Biden has all this weird stuff with his finances. Trump is not even recusing himself. Trump is not even pretending to divest from his businesses. And basically, Comer is being asked about that.
Speaker McCarthy had a phone call with Director Wray. He demanded that they turn over this document. This is a very crucial piece of our investigation.
The most corroborating evidence we have is that 1023 form from this highly credible, confidential human source.
Yeah, that's the spy.
And even your colleague Jason Smith, we should point out, tweeted that the informant's phony testimony, now phony we know, to the FBI was a smoking gun. Do you regret playing this FBI informant up at the time at all, even if you say you didn't ultimately rely on him?
I didn't play it up, and we asked everyone. Bob
You said it was a crucial part of the investigation.
Well, it was. Everything was a crucial part of the investigation. I think the bank records are the most crucial part that show the Bidens took in $27 million from our adversaries around.
And that's not true, right? Joe Biden, and by the way, if Joe Biden was linked to any of this, this would be a different story. Joe Biden has no link to anything that Hunter Biden did. That was proven, right? Especially not while he was vice president. And when he says our adversaries, like I said, we're not talking about Trump, who was directly receiving money from like a Chinese state-owned bank. We're talking about a businessman from China that Hunter Biden knew and did some business with. And again, this Hunter Biden never received any 27 billion. We're talking about, what was his name? Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've talked about this case. His name's Hunter Biden's other little associate, Devin. His name's Devin.
Green?
Yeah, I can't remember right now. I'll have to refresh my memory. I was thinking about it. I think what I'm going to do, Jamie Raskin made a amazing presentation, like debunking all of this. I have it in one of my previous outlines from like way back, I think in July. So I'm going to find that and then we'll go through it. But yeah, I just want everyone to be clear. What James Comer is saying is not true.
The world. They took in $8 million in loans that they never repaid back. That's $35 million. And according to the Irish whistleblowers, they never paid a penny of taxes on it. That's the crucial part of the investigation. We would interview anyone.
And again, notice how he says they. Like Hunter Biden had problems with his taxes and he pleaded guilty to that. Right? Again, they is no one. Like the reason he says the Bidens is to try to tie in Joe Biden with Joe Biden's son, who was deep in addiction and was doing his own thing. There's no they.
That claimed they had information. Christopher Wray said this guy was credible. Chuck Grassley wanted to.
When I heard that, I just want to he's talking about the spy that just pled guilty, the Russian informant who just pled guilty, Alexander Smirnov. I never heard Christopher Wray say that. And I watched every single impeachment trial. So I don't like Christopher Wray personally. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying I never heard him say that. As a matter of fact, I think Christopher Wray was saying the opposite and Merrick Garland was saying the opposite, saying like, hey, we have no idea what you guys are doing.
Interview the guy. That's why McCarthy said that. That's why Jim Jordan said that. I never said he was a crucial part of the investigation. I said, I want to know. No, I said,
they played the clip.
What this guy told the FBI.
They played the clip of him saying that he's a crucial part of the investigation, and James Comer is like yelling a bunch of untrue things and being like, I never said it. And she's like, we just played the clip of you on Fox. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, James, what are you going to do with this guy? Sorry, I'm just loading up the next clip. I have to do it this way. Sorry. Oh, yeah. I've already played that. Now we'll move on because this continued. Comer is in a world of hurt because this is the part where they ask him like, hey,
of the Oversight Committee. So far, President-elect Trump has not vowed to divest from his business interests like he did the first time around. Do you think he should?
Well, I think that he's been transparent. The problem that we had with the Bidens, they never were transparent with where their money.
This is a complete lie. Trump has never been transparent. The only reason we have any tax information or any information about anything is because the Ways and Means Committee voted to release it. Trump has never released his taxes. When it was finally released, we found out he had bank accounts in China he'd never admitted to. This is not true.
Shit in Russia too, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Not just China. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not just China, many other places. So again, I just want to be clear. James Comer's not being honest here. But the point is, you tried to impeach Joe Biden. You subpoenaed all these bank records. You're like, oh, we have all these connections. And guess what happened? Nothing, because there was all smoke and no fire. And we have another guy who's not even pretending to not be doing business with foreign countries while in office. He just announced another deal with the Saudis. And James Comer's like, that's fine. It's not fine.
Joe, that Donald Trump owns properties in foreign countries. We know what he owns in the United States. I think the American people knew that when they voted to re-elect.
Just like you knew what Joe Biden. Yeah, and we didn't. But we know what Joe Biden owned because he was forthcoming about it. That's what happens when you release your taxes.
So as long as I think the president's honest with the American people, I think the American people will be satisfied with it. If we come find out that he's got a secret offshore account and he's doing business with the Chinese on something no one knew about, then I think there'll be a problem up here. But right now it seems like everything that's come out business related with.
They reported on that. Everyone can look up what I'm saying. There were a Chinese, like the country of China, a Chinese state-owned bank was renting floors in Trump Tower. Trump never admitted to that. It was the press did an investigation and brought it to light.
Trump is a transparent process.
Just a note, though, I just have to be factual here. President Biden does share his tax returns every year. We do.
Oh, yeah. And then they talk about this. Here, let me pull this up. Yeah. And which she says, and wait till you hear what he says then. It's absolutely nuts.
We do see that. But just quickly, I mean, do you have any concern if he does? President Biden does share his tax returns every year. We do know, we do see that. But just quickly, I mean, do you have any concern if he doesn't divest about future President Trump using public office to enrich himself and his family? I mean, if he doesn't divest, would that concern you?
I think the most important thing is transparency. And with respect to tax records, I come from a banking background. Tax records don't mean anything. If you want.
He does not come from a banking background. I just want to that was one of the things that annoyed me most, and I looked in it. He just sits on the board of a bank. James Comer comes from no banking background, just to be clear. Like, does that, you know what I mean? Like, he does not come from a banking background.
Know whether someone's doing something corrupt or not, get their bank records, because bank records don't lie. People cheat on their taxes all the time.
Yeah, let's get Donald Trump's bank records then. Why don't we do that then, James Comer? Why don't you do what you did to Joe Biden? You got all of his bank records. You combed through everything he had. So let's just, to keep it fair, let's do the same thing. Like, why not? You said he's all on the up and up, and we have absolutely nothing to worry about. Like, let's get his bank records. I would love to. I think that would be great. I'm sure he's innocent. I'm sure there's nothing shady going on, I'm sure. And I just want to say, like, to be clear, like, it doesn't matter. You can file taxes, right? Like, because this is what came out about Trump's taxes. It's not, you can file taxes and say, this is how much I earned, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. But then you have to provide the collateral, right? Like the receipts, like showing like, I'm not just making this up. Here's the financial records that back this up. And Trump has never provided those.
Things bank record.
And if you're interested in looking into more of this and some of the shady stuff, one of the highest level audits ever done was done about Trump, but it's anonymous. ProPublica did an article about it. It's about the shady dealings with the Chicago Trump Tower. And you should look into that, just to be clear of how little they know about Trump's taxes.
And I think as long as President Trump is transparent, I think the American people will give him a pass on his business activity. But if it ever comes out that they've got secret deals or whatever, then that could potentially be a problem, obviously, moving down.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. So what I hear you saying is he doesn't need to divest as long as he's transparent from all these different business ventures, real estate, Bible selling, NFTs, so forth. I
think transparent.
Okay, so is he going to give us a list of all of his business dealings and make that clear? Which is still that's not okay, though.
Why does he sound like he's joking all the time? He never sounds serious.
I think that he doesn't even have, it's interesting you say that, because I've always thought like maybe he doesn't even have respect for himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, he always does seem to have like a smirk on his face. And I'm like, why does he have this smirk? I do. I think it's because he's like, I barely like myself. You know, that's kind of like how I've always explained it to myself. Okay, hold on. So I have to do this fact check, and you might hear this in debates. You may hear this from MAGA if you do debates, or, you may hear your family say it. This relates to I believe it's like 1,500 commutations And, they're not, I learned they're not pardons, they're commutations. You know what I mean? What that Joe Biden did for people that were on house arrest. And then there's like 39. I'm not going to look, I'm going to show a fact check of this after we hear this live, but this is what is circulating. This is what is circulating on, like MAGA media. And that's Tim Burchett, the representative from Tennessee, who, like, the conspiracy theorist, this man is probably the spreader of the most disinformation. And so is Benny Johnson. So this is, I've heard this now like 25 times from different podcasters and stuff in the MAGA-verse, if you will.
That one Chinese dude had over 400. That one Chinese dude.
You're not going to understand what he's saying. So let me give it a little background. What he's trying to say is that of the people Joe Biden pardoned, which this is not true, and I'm going to show you a factcheck.org article explaining that it's not. But he's trying to say that Biden pardoned a 3PDO. Like in those 1,500 plus the 39, that one of those people was a 3PDO. That is not true. Like what he is talking about when he says Chinese is over, I believe it was November 27th. So not a month, but, like 7 days shy of a month. There was a Chinese prisoner swap. Right? We were negotiating, I believe, for 3 Americans who've been trapped in Chinese prisons. And we did a Chinese prisoner swap. And that's who he's talking about.
Had over 400, you got a family and 400 pictures on his dadgum computer and little kids. And he was released. I said they should have released his ashes. I mean, I'm so sick of this stuff. And then, I passed some of the toughest laws in the country in Tennessee, and some of them were apparently unconstitutional, got thrown out, but I don't care. I'm not going to sit one day and when I meet my maker, I'm not going to worry about
Anyone hear what he just said? This man just said, I passed a bunch of laws that apparently some of them were unconstitutional. It's like, what? What? Say what now? Like, you passed some laws that they were unconstitutional? That sounds pretty bad.
I'm not going to sit one day and
wait, I need to hear
sick of this stuff. And then, I passed some of the toughest laws in the country in Tennessee, and some of them were apparently unconstitutional, got thrown out, but I don't care. I'm not going to sit one day and when I meet my maker, I'm not going to worry about I'm not going to worry about if I looked out for the least amongst us, because dadgum, I'm going to do it. But this administration, it's just, and where is the national media in this? Could you imagine if Trump released a pedophile? These guys are pedophiles. If they got the pictures, dadgum it, they are pedophiles. And
sir, can we get a
No, so again, that's a complete lie. Like, I just need to be clear. Biden did not do that. So let me pull up the factcheck.org clarification, right? What he's doing is not talking about the 1,500 people plus the 39. Here, I'm just waiting for it to pull up and then put it on screen because I'm not using a slideshow. Okay. Can you guys... Posts wrongly conflate U.S.-China prisoner swap with Biden's recent pardons. So this is just a lie and I'm not going to just blame it on Tim Burchett. I do hear him constantly repeating it, but it's not just him. Right? So here we go. And I'm just going to go through so we can all be armed with the truth, and you can look this up anytime you want on factcheck.org, right? So here's all the pardons Biden's done. On December 12th, Joe Biden granted 39 pardons and 1,499 commutations. So it's actually their commutations. Less than 2 weeks after granting his son Hunter a full and unconditional pardon for any crimes he has committed or may have committed from January 1, 2014 through December 1, 2024, right? So that's what he's done. Now I just want to get But as social media, here we go. Let me just make it a little bigger. But as social media users responded to Biden's flurry of clemency actions, some have misrepresented one unrelated clemency issued last month, right? And it's Benny Johnson, right? They show like Benny Johnson keeps posting these things saying that happened. But I just want to get down to the part where it explains who it is. Here we go. But Jen's clemency, let me see if I can make it so it's big enough. Okay. But Jen's clemency was not part of the pardons issued by Biden on December 12th, and his name does not appear on the list of clemency recipients announced that day. Rather, Jen had been a part of a widely reported prisoner swap with China that was announced by the U.S. on November 27th. In exchange for Jen and 2 other Chinese nationals, 3 Americans, John Loon, Kai Li, and Mark Swiden, were released to the U.S. following months of diplomatic efforts. So I just want to be clear, when you hear this lie from Benny Johnson or Tim Burchett or any number of other people in the magosphere, what they are referring to is a November 27th Chinese prisoner swap where we exchanged 3 Chinese nationals for 3 Americans. It's sad that we have to do this constantly. It's like that's our job, is to follow behind these people and correct their lies.
There's always just a tiny seed of truth.
It always, I know, and that's like the first. It always starts with like just a kernel of like, hey, it's almost true, but
yeah.
And I believe he says it again here. So, and this, now we're going to go into them discussing sorry, I'm just trying to move my.
And if they found it, I think it ought to be brought to light.
Sorry.
If not, then
they're talking about jailing Liz Cheney, right? They recommended her for a prosecution. And I'm going to try, because I did a deep dive. I was going back through, like, I've read the January 6th committee report before, but I just wanted to refresh my memory on the Loudermilk report and what these people are trying to say Liz Cheney did. And I did like a kind of deep dive this morning into it so I could remember what it was, so I could tell you guys. But again, here goes Tim Burchett.
And if they found it, I think it ought to be brought to light. If not, then she's fine. I don't have a problem with them investigating that.
You want the government to go after Trump's political enemies?
If they broke the law, I don't care if they're my political enemies or they're my friends. If they broke the law, dadgummit, they ought to be brought in and they ought to be brought to justice. There shouldn't be. That's what we talk about all the time. That's why Trump's in the White House, because there is 2 systems of justice in this country, and you can't have it both ways. You have got to. It's got to be straight and right down the middle. You can go back and watch all the tapes that the conservatives put out of the Democrats saying there's not 2 forms of justice, there's just one. Well, there is 2 forms of justice. The Biden White House, obviously, they're releasing criminals, they're releasing pedophiles, they're releasing Chinese communist
Oh my God!
And at a
what?
You see why I had to fact check this? Do you see now? Like, it's necessary that you know the truth, because the constant lies spewing out of the right. This is what they do. If you don't constantly know the truth, right? Imagine, like, do you blame even the average person who's working like 50, 60 hours a week to survive in capitalism for not, this sounds horrible if you don't know it's a lie.
Yeah.
If you don't know, hey, that's a
just
prisoner swap, Chinese nationals for Americans that were being held prisoner by an authoritarian, not a great person.
Record number, and nobody's paying attention. There is 2 systems of justice in this country, and I'm tired of it, Jim, and you should be either.
Because like, what in the actual F is going on? But yeah, again, none of that's true, but Tim Burch is just yelling lies. Do you know how many times this man has been community noted, and like refused to take the post down? People are like, hey, this is very obviously a lie, and he will not retract statements. Like, what was it that he did? It was someone that he like railroaded and said something horrible. Like, he ruined some man's reputation. I'll remember what it was. Go ahead. Hey, Joanna.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Hello.
Perfect. Much better.
Good. So, I know that y'all noticed that you couldn't yap in the comments for a little bit, but that's because you weren't really getting those tapping fingers that work out for today. So I need you guys to do that. We've been getting all this great information, and we've said some, well, not said some, but the videos have said some unfriendly language that this app doesn't like. So make sure that you're tapping so that the live doesn't get taken down. And we can keep enjoying
and
all
say
this
we love
wonderful
TikTok
information
shop
that we're getting.
occasionally. Yeah, say we love. Sorry, Joanne, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm just saying, like, mention we love TikTok shop because there's some things being said today that are not kosher.
Yeah, and we absolutely do love TikTok Shop. True story. I got this amazing smelling perfume from TikTok Shop, the Soul DJ brand that we all like, that smells like pistachio and caramel and stuff, that smells delicious. They have a big old bottle on TikTok Shop for like half the price that it is in Sephora. So we really do love the TikTok Shop, but get those fingers tapping so everybody can keep yapping. Gift Pickles, because we love having him here. His pay link is right down there on the bottom of the screen. Gift Felice, because of course we love having her here with her gorgeous curly hair today. I live. If you want a link to the Discord, message Felice Navidad Live or one of the mods and we'll get you one. Keep doing all of the good things. We appreciate you guys being here. There are 764 of you here. Do your big one in the chat. Keep yapping. I know we sick of Admir because he doesn't really listen or know anything. But keep engaging with him. It's great for the algorithm. And maybe he'll learn something today. Love you guys. Keep tapping.
Thank you so much, Joanna. You're like the best flight attendant. I feel like we're like on a plane. It's awesome. Okay, so and next thing I want to cover is our least favorite person on earth, Scott Jennings, that guy who's on that round table every night on CNN. They were talking about Trump suing Ann Selzer, right? You know, Trump did file that lawsuit against the Des Moines Register and Ann Selzer, who's a pollster, right? Polls are wrong all the time, and Trump is suing someone for getting a poll wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I didn't put the screen back up.
You believe no, I think that media has to do their job. They have to actually, they need to get the facts
but wait a
right.
second.
We were right. And that's always wrong.
It was wrong, but guess what else was wrong? All the polls of 2022. And none of those pollsters are
all wrong.
And you were wrong in 2022, Scott, because you said there was going to be a red wave.
I never said that. I never said
Twitter,
that.
Twitter, she's saying, Twitter, do you think? Yes, you guys all said there was a red wave. Should you all be sued? Did you mislead everyone? Did you defame? There was no red wave, but you said there was. That's a great point. Like, think about that. If you are in the media and you say your opinion, I mean, can you be sued for it? Is that where we're headed in America?
do you think? Run the clips, because people said that there was going to be a red wave, and there wasn't. And so when you make predictions, which is what we get paid to do, is to read the tea leaves and determine, it is not something that should rise to the occasion of litigation.
You know what, Scott, how many campaigns have you done? I've done 100 million, and probably you have too, right? Every time you get a bad poll, are you supposed to sue the pollster now?
It's not about the poll. It's not about the poll. But look what happened. It came out and from a person who has a lot of credibility. Virtually every single panel I was on for the last week of the campaign led with, well, look at this poll.
Oh my God.
It's the, and so it wasn't the poll. It's the second, third, and fourth order narrative.
Listen. The number. I'm sorry.
And it's just
speech. So what? So what?
It's free speech.
What about Scott? I mean, what about free speech? I mean, I thought that this was the Republican Party of say what you want. Let's debate it in the public square. Like, let's have the conversation. Now it's let's only have the conversation if you're 100%. Prescient and correct in that moment. It was a bad poll. It was a wrong poll. The media discussed it. So.
All right. What do you think of this, by the way? What do you think the answer to this is?
This needs to be slapped down immediately. This is intimidation. This is media control. This is controlling the media. Like, imagine being scared to post a poll that doesn't look good for Trump in the next election, or Trump's, whoever he's endorsing, and being scared to be sued about it. That's
We're heading towards, I mean, like, it seems like we're heading towards like what Russian state media, you know, like if you oppose and if you say there's someone else running for re-election, but Putin, you disappear. I just wanted to show this because I don't know what this guy is talking about. So I'm just going to go off on a little tangent and give you some information because once you hear what's in this lawsuit, you might be surprised. So Trump has now filed his lawsuit, right, against the Des Moines Register. This is a small newspaper. They can't afford to fight this in court, right? And pollster Ann Selzer. So just to be clear, the minute that poll came out and it was wrong, I think what happened is she feared for the Des Moines Register because it's a small publication. So she immediately resigned. She said, I have nothing to do with them. I think she was trying to save them from being named in a lawsuit that Trump was promising. It obviously didn't work, but to her credit, she tried. But it says for brazen election interference, like since her poll released shortly before the election showed Harris up 3 points, Trump won the state by 13 points. The lawsuit was filed under the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act. Like
what?
I know. And this is what it claims. This is crazy. The lawsuit claims that the poll was not simply an honest mistake, but was done intentionally by Selzer. How are you going to prove that? Like, that makes no sense. Quote, left-wing pollsters have attempted to influence electoral outcomes through manipulated polls. I want you guys to know part of what came out in the Stormy Daniels trial, part of the testimony of Donald Trump was that he had Michael Cohen go to an individual like engineering firm and have them manipulate an online poll. The firm was called Redfinch, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but you can look it up. Look at it, see if it's Redfinch. I believe the firm was called Redfinch or something like that. I have close to a photographic memory, but not quite. But yeah, he paid. That's part of the payoffs to Michael Cohen that Trump was signing. Part of it was to a firm to manipulate an online poll.
Yeah, Redfinch.
Thank you. I have such a good memory, not to brag or anything, but
yeah,
this brain's firing on all cylinders. So now I'm just pointing out, this is something that it came out, you know, Trump said in that trial, that's part of what came out in the court documents, that he had done it. And he is suing someone, accusing them of doing it. You can't make this stuff up. You literally
you cut out, Felice. You froze.
Am I frozen?
There, we lost like the last 10 seconds of whatever you just said.
Okay. Am I still frozen or not?
No, you're good. You're good now.
Cool. Yeah, I just said it came out in the Stormy Daniels trial in the court documents that Trump had done this. He is now accusing someone of doing what it came out in the Stormy Daniels trial he actually had in fact done. Like that's... you can't write this. So listen to this. Left-wing pollsters have attempted to influence electoral outcomes through manipulated polls that have unacceptable error rates and are not grounded in widely accepted polling methodologies. This is what she's like, I think the second or third ranked highest pollster. Like, this is one of the most reputable pollsters there was. Like, and he says that. And I don't think because we got sick of going through that press conference yesterday, but that's one of the things he says about her. He said, Ann Selzer always got me right. She got me right every time, but she got it wrong this time. It's like every pollster gets something wrong once. What do you mean? Like, you can't be right every time. He said manipulated polls that have unacceptable error rates and are not grounded in widely accepting polling methodologies. This type of manipulation creates a narrative of inevitability for Democratic candidates, increases enthusiasm among Democrats, like the red wave talk, and compels Republicans to divert time and money in areas where they are ahead. Oh my God. So, but I just want to be clear about this. So the lawsuit also says that the Iowa poll results, they're accusing him of being leaked to Democratic operatives 2 days before it was released to the public and not to any Republicans. Trump argues that it shows it was not just negligence, but was intentional and calculated. The Des Moines Register issued a statement saying that while the poll was significantly inaccurate, Seltzer used typical methodology, which they released to the public after the election to be completely transparent. That's true. And it is. They said they have already released the poll's full demographics, crosstabs, weighted and unweighted data, as well as technical explanation of all of it by Ann Seltzer. We stand by our reporting and believe this lawsuit is without merit. I can't believe this is where we're at. So do you know how many polls, like the Rasmussen polls, Trump always quotes Rasmussen polls and they're thrown out. They won't use them. Reputable polling sites won't use them in weighted polling averages because their methodology is so egregious. Should Trump be sued? I'm just saying none of this makes any sense.
And wasn't he getting some of that stuff like on the inside scoop, like before it was released?
Yeah.
And even giving things to Rasmussen to skew their reporting?
I'm not sure technically about that, but yeah, there's a lot of things. Yeah. I mean, that's why they threw it out. Like, I know for Rasmussen specifically, they gave, like, if you're not willing to like fix the way, your polling methodology and make it reputable, like you can't be part of weighted polling averages.
Frozen and fleece.
Chat, am I freezing for you guys? Cause